Hi, everybody.
Oh.
This guy jumping the gun over here. It's okay. No, take us off.
Hey, everybody. If you guys like spooky and goofy content, you're in the right place. Wicked New England. I'm your host today, John Batello. Here with our co-hosts.
Hi, guys.
I'm Anthony.
I'm Andrew.
And today we're actually going to be talking about our opinions on aliens. So, Andrew, please, why don't you start us off?
Not the illegal kind. All right, how about we just start out with like a flat out yes or no? Do you believe extraterrestrial life exists? Okay, I'm going to say yes. I believe in aliens. Okay?
I'm saying yes.
Okay, I hope that doesn't put me on a watch list. Whatever.
I would say yes.
I don't wear tinfoil hats, but I do believe in aliens. Okay,
I would say yes.
So it sounds like we all believe in aliens. Okay, so what are we thinking? Are they the little green men that we're like typically seeing? I mean, are they like mongoloid mutated gelatinous masses? Are they, I don't know, are they some kind of little microorganism? You know what I mean? Like how in depth do you believe this? Like what are you thinking of when you think of an alien? What are you thinking of?
So, when I think of an alien, really what I can think of is the universe is so giant that somewhere out there has to be other kinds of life. Now,
Not necessarily intelligent.
not necessarily intelligent.
And I think that's one of the things we should touch base on too, because like I think everybody automatically assumes from the movies they see in TV that aliens are smarter than us and like far more advanced than what we are, right? But we had to start from something and like reach this technological age that we're in now, just by an organic process of learning and like discovering fire and so forth. So how do we know that like another race hasn't popped up somewhere on some other freaking planet or star and they just discovered fire, or they just figured out the wheel, or the lever, something basic? How do we know that they got these super advanced, in every way, shape, and form, like, things? And I can't say that I definitively believe that. You know what I mean? Just because, why? Because there's UFOs? I mean, if you believe in those, which I do believe some sightings are UFOs. I think sometimes it's just military experimental craft. I think sometimes it's just a drone. I think there's enough technology out there that could look like something else, and we're far enough along to have experimental prototype craft. And I don't think that was necessarily automatically given to us because of something crashed and we have it in Roswell and now we're developing, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know that I believe all that necessarily, but yeah, I mean, they could have just regular craft for them that maybe just can make it to like another star. Like maybe they're closer than we think. Maybe they're not. Yeah.
I think my problem is that I really want to believe in UFOs. I really want to believe that we've made contact as humans. That's my biggest struggle, because I feel like when you really want to believe, it makes it easier when you see maybe sometimes half-baked evidence to believe it.
True, but I mean, that also means it's easier to be persuaded too. You have to kind of weigh in the good. Like, do I believe there's a possibility that aliens touch down and we have their ship at Area 51? Sure, it's possible. Anything's possible. And honestly, if the government has it, they probably absolutely would keep it a secret. I mean, rightfully so. There's some things you don't want falling into the hands of the general public because the general public can't be trusted. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't like to think about things that way, but
it's true. Unfortunately,
sometimes Big Brother does have our best interests in mind. Freedom of information is not always a good thing, but that's a whole other topic, really. But I mean, like in the wheelhouse of aliens, I think it does apply. You know what I mean? Because if people really did know 100% definitively, like all these things, they would freak out. And if people in a mob or a group are stupid, they do dumb things and make rash decisions, and like, you know what I mean? Individuals can be trusted because like, an individual can rationalize, but a group can't rationalize.
Mob mentality.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I don't care what topic you're talking about. You could tell a mob that we're going to outlaw the color brown. next week, and like the 8-pack of crayons is now going to feature some prismatic color that's like a combination of all of them or something like that, and people will freak out. You know, they're ruining our child's education because they're taking away brown. You know what I mean? You know, but without going off too much on a tangent here, because I kind of am. But no, I believe in aliens. I mean, you know, I believe in spacecraft. I believe, you know, but can I definitively say that means they're far more advanced than us, and maybe that's naive? I don't. I don't think they're 100% given to be more advanced than we are.
You know, I actually have a funny story about this topic. So when I was younger, I was
Were you
really
probed?
well. Funny you say that. No. I was really interested in aliens. I used to watch these documentaries all the time about, you know, unexplained encounters with aliens, right? And so one day, if you remember the brand, the Spy Kids Toys brand, they had this metal detector. I thought it was the coolest thing. But it had a sensitivity little wheel that you could use, and when you put it all the way up, no matter what, it went off. So you could hold it up to a plank of wood, it's going to go off as if it's magnetic. So, there was this one special where they talked about how people got these metal chips put inside them in different places of their body. And of course, right after that is when I got the metal detector. So my sister, being 2.5 years older than me, found it to be the best time to pull a little prank on me. Where she was like, oh, well, let's see if an alien, you know, like, put a metal chip in you. So what she did was she took the metal detector, and as she got to the top of my head,
Just turn the dial up.
Turn the dial up. And I was like, oh, no, you've got to be doing that. She was like, no, John, really, it's going off. There must be a metal chip in your head. I was very young at the time, very gullible.
Very naive.
And it took me longer than I'd like to admit to realize that she was pranking me. Probably a whole week.
Show me on the doll where it hurt you.
Show me on the doll where the alien put metal pieces in you.
On another note, too, like if you ever want an interesting movie to watch, John, Fire in the Sky. Which I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Very good movie.
Based on a true story of an
HBO
abduction.
original, isn't it?
I believe so. I have the movie. I have it on DVD, but it's wild, is what I will say.
Okay.
That's going back to like late 1980s, early 1990s.
Like 92-ish, 91.
It was early.
You quote me on it. Interesting movie though, from alien abduction side of view, but it's wild for sure. How about you, Anthony? You got anything on this topic here? Because
listen, as far as belief goes, I believe anything's possible. You'd have to be kind of naive to believe that we are only the actual life form on a planet. If you look at all the beings that we have in life here on Earth, to think that there's not something close or similar in a different world or in a different galaxy, we've still only gotten a small little glimpse of what's out in space.
Mm-hmm.
We've only realized in the past maybe 15, 20 years that there's actually other galaxies out there entirely. I think they've realized there's been some galaxies out there, and maybe the 1970s, maybe they didn't realize how extravagant and how large the galaxy expanse really is back then. But you know, to be naive and say that we're the only possible planet to withstand life, I can't believe that. Touch base on what Andrew said. Yeah, I do believe there is possibility that there's life on another planet. Maybe they're human-like, and maybe they're just discovering fire. Maybe they're just discovering the wheel. Then again, there could very well possibly be aliens out there that are looking at us and kind of like experimenting, seeing where we're at exactly in space-time continuum aspects. Why we're always fighting one another. Why this, why that? They're always asking. They're probably looking at us going, what the hell's wrong with these people? but I mean, and overall, I think that there is a high possibility that aliens could very well exist. You have to be naive to believe that we're the only ones alone in this galaxy, or the next galaxy over, or the next galaxy after that.
Right. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like an intelligent life, like I'm saying, you know? I mean, it could just be creatures, you know? I mean, who knows? Look at the bottom of the ocean. We still don't even know what is down there, and I think that's a perfectly good example. There's something that's on our planet.
We're still exploring some creatures that are below the depths.
What is it? 10% of the ocean is what we've explored?
Something.
10%.
I think it's up to 15.
Or maybe 15 now.
Might be up to 15 now.
But, you know what I'm saying? That leaves so much. Like, we don't even know what creatures are on our own planet, let alone what.
And that's kind of the funny thing. We've got satellites in space that can show you where your vehicle is on a particular date and time.
But we can't see the bottom of the ocean
But we can't see the bottom of the ocean floor.
Right.
And, you know, you can go into the government conspiracy world and say that maybe the government maybe certain governments do have the ability to see things that we're not a part of. But at the same time, you have to explore what we know. We have not even begun to really explore 100% of Earth. And I think that overall, when you're looking at different possibilities of galaxies, different worlds, it also depends on your definition of life too. Mm-hmm. And you can take the conspiracy theorists, and we can get into real alien aspects of what we know of the gray man, the lizard man, and other aspects of humanoid figures. But I mean, at the same
person.
But I mean, other humanoid figures as well. I mean, there's a hard line where you have to draw of what's crazy and what's reality. I think crazy would be not keeping an open mind to the overall situation.
Yeah, I mean, by them definitions too, like, think about it this way. If there's an ant on the moon, is it not an extraterrestrial? Is it too hard to assume that there might not be like a space mite or something like that, you know? Fleas?
Well,
space
how
fleas.
many
Terrifying.
How many films?
That was the case.
Why has it got to be terrifying? I mean, it could be a little tiny insect. I mean, like, how many spiders are in every square mile of this earth compared to people?
I will say this.
Isn't it like 10,000 spiders
This is not
per square
Spaceship
mile?
Troopers.
If
No, it's
aliens
true.
are like spiders, I don't want to go to space.
I don't want to go to space anyway.
I wouldn't want to go to space either.
I don't need to leave the atmosphere. I'm good.
I'm chilling.
I know I can't breathe out there, so if anything goes wrong, I'm screwed.
That is true.
I can breathe here. I may burn my skin from the hole in the frickin' atmosphere, but I mean, like, I know if I go out there, I can't breathe. So if anything fails with your oxygen, you're screwed. That's it.
That is true.
Head's getting sucked out through a mask. You know what I'm saying? So, I'll keep it on the ground.
Actually, I believe
Flying in a plane is about the closest I want to get folks to going to outer space.
I believe the actual aspect of no oxygen or anything else in that atmosphere is your skin or your blood would boil. As crazy as that sounds, it's like a flash boil aspect. It sounds like it makes me feel like being at ground zero for a nuclear war would sound better than going up and losing oxygen in space.
Pressure could literally make you implode.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too much fun.
Spaghetti sauce.
And
Done.
you'd still be alive, and it happens a little bit slower than 10,000 degrees in less than a second in a nuclear bomb. So, I mean, honestly, if we're talking about ways to go in this aspect, I would probably put me at ground zero on a nuclear warhead.
You know, and a lot of scientists and stuff like that say, like, oh, you know, intelligent life couldn't exist or whatever because, like, you know, there's no oxygen, you can't breathe or whatever. How do we know there are carbon-based life forms?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They could be based completely different and not need oxygen to breathe.
And that's why you have to have. That's why you have to have an open open mind to such the situation when talking about
How about Neptune?
the possibilities.
Maybe there's life there and they have gills. You know what I'm saying? It's like a fish.
Or even, I think it was which moon of Jupiter was it? Was it Europa?
Maybe.
where there's all oceans underneath an ice.
Yes.
Ice
Yeah,
dome.
that's Europa. Yeah.
That's yep.
You know, that would be very interesting to be able to explore and see, is there life on that planet?
Also, side point, as I've been trying to convince John to buy Destiny 2 for the last 3 weeks or so, Europa is actually one of the planets you can explore in Destiny 2, as well as Neptune.
Are there any aliens on it?
One could argue, yes. Creatures, enemies.
Creatures, enemies. Okay.
We're up to an 8.6 out of 10. Once we get to 9, if it goes on sale, I will buy it. Once we're at 10, full price.
Technically, it is on sale.
Well, 0.4 points away, but
I gotta keep working on them. Okay? Need more people to play Destiny. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Aliens.
you know, there's this one episode of the Twilight
I don't know,
Zone.
therefore, aliens.
There's this one episode of the Twilight Zone that I love. It's one of my favorites. The original one, of course. The new one I have not seen any episodes for. I think, Jordan Peele made the new one? I'm not too sure. But honestly, the old one, I grew up on it. How to Serve Man. Did you guys ever see that episode?
Probably, but I just don't remember it.
So the premise of
I
the
would have
episode-
seen it when I was probably like 7.
The premise of the episode is basically aliens touch down on Earth, and the way that they get people to trust them is they say, "We're here to serve you." Here, the translation of this book, or scientists discover the translation of their book, is How to Serve Man. And so everyone trusts the aliens, and they start boarding the humans onto their spaceships, basically corralling them onto their spaceships and take everyone away. And it's not until the end, spoiler alert, that you find out that
How to
it's a
serve
cookbook.
them, yeah.
How to Serve Man.
Okay, well that makes sense. So if anybody's ever seen the Simpsons Halloween special
Yeah.
with Kang and Krotos, like how to cook for humans, and then how to cook humans, it's like how to cook for 40 humans, how to cook for, yeah. There's just more space dust on here, you know, and anyway, but that's obviously playing off of that. But yeah, definitely could be like that too. Who knows? They showed up, maybe
Definitely.
it'd be like Starship Troopers. You know,
It
it
very
could,
well
be a
could
bunch
be.
of like bugs, could be, who knows?
I would hate if they were bugs.
Johnny Rico. He was a real go-getter. Moving on. Anything else we want to talk about with this one, guys? Mind you, this is purely opinion, folks, for entertainment values. You know, we are going to actually revisit this topic with some actual research that we conduct on our own. More fact, less opinion. But this episode, I really just wanted to kind of get it out there. Do we even believe? Do we not believe? What are these two knuckleheads thinking? This guy's got some half-baked ideas. He was just spending time in Colorado, so...
Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, I think a good thing about this episode is that it gauges how we feel before doing any research, so that now we can kind of go back after we do our research and compare how we were feeling before and after.
Yeah, I think my main things are A, I do believe in alien life. B, I refuse to believe that just because they exist doesn't mean they're smarter than us. That's where I'm at with it.
I have a tendency to believe that I'm not going to have such a different opinion, only because I've watched a lot of the documentaries, the history behind it, and I mean I've already kind of been intoxicated by a lot of the different aspects of aliens, which is why I think I'm more open-minded to the idea of the possibilities. But I mean, as far as like the whole alien aspect goes, I mean, if you look at it and you wonder about how dangerous they could be or how weak they might be, if they're that weak, they're sure in hell not going to be coming here. If they are visiting us, chances are they might be a little bit more of a powerful force. So, I mean, those are also aspects that I think we should look at, consider, and conduct when doing an investigation or looking up this information.
Yeah, 100%.
Just things to consider, guys.
I mean, I think it's good, like I said, we all believe. I mean, it makes it a lot easier to keep an open mind, period. But
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, I think one important thing about this topic, especially any conspiracy theory type topics, which I guess you could kind of put aliens in. Don't let it consume you. You know, your life still has to go on. So if you change your entire lifestyle off of an idea that you heard on the internet from 3 weirdos, that's a problem. You should just keep living your life.
All right, so I guess in closing, my final thought is, what's your favorite alien movie? Let's just close with that. And I kind of feel like it's a cop-out to pick aliens, because, like, I'm a horror fan, so I'm kind of geared to want to pick that anyway, but I'm going to try to stay away from that and pick something else. Let's say aliens, you can't pick that, okay? Because I feel like that's too easy.
Does that include any of the sequels, or?
Yes.
That's not what I was going to pick anyway, to be fair.
No, it's okay.
I'm going to go with Star Wars. I love the fact that every planet has such a diverse group of aliens that end up kind of living together in a society.
Okay. That went off a different way than I thought this was going to go.
Yeah, so it did.
Because
I know
I understand that aspect, and I like that aspect.
No, I mean, I love Star Wars, but that's not what I
envisioned kind of thing.
Yeah, like I was thinking something like Signs, or like, you know, like
Alien,
what we typically think of
alien movies,
you know what I mean?
not sci-fi fantasy.
When I think aliens, all I can think of is the cantina scene from A New Hope, where you have, I mean, most of the aliens are all completely different.
And they're drinking at a bar. They all have something in common. They're drinking at the bar.
This is true. This is true.
I don't know, what kind of drink would you get? What colored glowing drink would you end up taking?
Well, as a child,
especially when you don't know what that flavor is going to be.
As a child, and as a good rule of thumb, if it's blue, it tastes good. Okay, this is true if you're like 5 years old and like someone's offering you a popsicle, a candy, like a soda, a juice, like, you know what I mean. Like, when in doubt, choose blue. I'd say you'll do fine. When it comes to flavor,
hoping that it has something to do with possible a certain Johnny we all know?
No, I don't think so. That'd be great though if they had Johnny Walker Blue, like fruit juice or something like that. But no, like when in doubt, choose blue. But as an adult, I can tell you I've started to gear more towards choose green.
All right.
So I think if I'm choosing a glowing drink, I'm going with the green kryptonite, not the red.
I would probably choose the green myself.
Yeah,
right
as a kid, I would choose blue. 100%.
Now going back to the original question, as far as a movie goes, I think I would probably choose Orson Welles' War of the Worlds.
Okay, oh, that's good. I wouldn't choose the Orson Welles one only because I actually do like the remake with Tom Cruise.
I do like the remake because I only like the remake for one reason and one reason only. It goes into more details of like the alien background of what they were doing.
I just really like the walkers, man. Those things are freaking cool.
Well, I think the more exciting is and tantalizing is how the walkers were run. But anyway, I still go for the original black and white, Orson Welles version.
So
War of the Worlds.
I'm gonna go with a fun one,
and I only go with that only because it did explore something of the potential of being attacked, but what organisms do we have here that are airborne that we're totally immune of, as well as all the wildlife on the planet, but yet they're coming into our world and they could potentially die because they're just inhaling this stuff or breathing it in or getting it on them, and it leads to a different background and aspect. But I mean, I think the remake did very well, also with the same aspect. But I mean, it's just that aspect of what causes us to live, what causes us to die. Just because you're wearing a spacesuit and you go to another planet doesn't mean you can't die. There might be an organism that can go through a certain fiber, whatever the spacesuits are made out of.
Hey, we have a fish that swallows, like that crawls into your urethra and expands right here on Earth in the Amazon. So I mean, let's put that in perspective.
Isn't that just so fun to think
about? The kangaroo, by the way, is the name of the fish, just in case you're curious. It slithers up in there and its spines go. And you can't pull it out.
Oh, isn't that awesome, guys?
Yeah, just to put that perspective in his
Anyway, how about you, Andrew? What's your movie?
So I actually have 3 coming to mind right now, and so one of them is just kind of a fun one. Like whenever I think of aliens, for some reason, I'm always going to think of Men in Black.
Oh, that's okay.
Just because I had a great time when I was a kid watching that movie. I loved that movie, and the whole concept that there's like this agency that's like there to help govern like the different aliens coming
The only
in and out.
scary background
It's,
is there is
interesting.
actual documentation of Men in Black.
Okay. Just move it back along this way.
Anyway.
But, and then the other 2, I will say, because I like horror movies, especially found footage movies, and this, John, if you've never seen it, might bake your noodle. There's one called Apollo 18, which is the tagline of the movie is the reason we never went back to the moon.
Oh, I think I saw
Which
that.
is, it's wild.
It is wild.
And so it's a found footage movie. And then honestly, I think it's just called Area 51, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to think right now. I think it's called Area 51. It is. It's
that
another
the one
found footage movie.
where they snuck in?
Yeah.
I love
With the
that
ammonia
movie.
suits and stuff like that, and like, but at the end, like, the aliens like throw him up through the frickin' sky, and the guy ends up falling down back to Earth and frickin' dying. But that's pretty cool. Both of those will kind of bake your noodle a little bit, you know what I mean? Just because like they feel real, but they're those found footage style. So if you don't like shaky cameras, then maybe don't watch. It's got that whole Blair Witch kind of aspect to it. But that's it for me as far as those go. Those are just fun, and Men in Black's always fun to watch too. It doesn't always have to be horror, but that one's just a blast. It's like he's wearing an Edgar suit.
And before we leave, we gotta ask John the one question we didn't ask. Drink. Back at the bar for Star Wars.
What color?
What color?
Good call. I forgot that.
I'm picking blue because even as a kid, I always wanted to try the blue milk from the beginning of A New Hope.
As Jesse Pinkman would say on Breaking Bad, it's good because it's blue, bitch.
Well, that's Wicked New England, folks.
That's it. So, actually, John's the host this week, so you want to close this out, John?
Go ahead.
Well, thank you guys for watching Wicked New England. As always, I'm John.
Andrew?
Anthony?
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.